Hey warriors! Welcome back to the channel. You ever notice how people treat you completely differently based on what you're wearing? How the same person who ignored you in cheap clothes suddenly pays attention when you're dressed well? How opportunities, respect, even romantic interest, all of it changes based on whether you look expensive or cheap. And you've been taught that's shallow, that real people care about who you are inside, that authenticity matters more than appearance. But that's not reality. That's the lie they tell you to keep you manageable. Here's what's actually happening. You're being sorted into economic classes every single day, not by your actual bank account, by how expensive you look. And that sorting determines everything. Who talks to you, who hires you, who dates you, who invests in you, who respects you, who even sees you. The expensive-looking people get one treatment. Doors open, opportunities appear, people invest. The cheap-looking people get another treatment. Doors close, opportunities vanish, people dismiss. And you've been in the cheap category. Not necessarily because you're actually poor, but because you look poor. Because you haven't mastered the performance. Because you're wearing the wrong signals. If you're starting to see how appearing cheap has been systematically locking you out of opportunities, and you're ready to learn how to look expensive regardless of your bank account, subscribe now. And here's the part that should terrify you. The world is running a constant wealth assessment on you, and the moment you appear poor, doors close that will never reopen. There's a split-second judgment happening in every interaction, every business meeting, every social situation, every romantic encounter. People are scanning for wealth markers. Expensive looking, worth engaging. Cheap looking, not worth the effort. And they make this judgment before you speak, before you demonstrate value, before you show capability. Just by looking at your clothes, your shoes, your watch, your grooming, your accessories, they've decided whether you're valuable or dismissible. And you've been operating with economic transparency. You've been authentic about your financial situation, wearing what you can afford, driving what you have, living within your visible means, being honest about limitations, and all of that authenticity, it's locking you out of the very opportunities that could change your financial situation. Because here's the brutal truth. Poverty visibility is a death spiral. You look poor, so people treat you poorly, so you have fewer opportunities, so you stay poor, so you continue looking poor. The cycle never breaks unless you break it, and you don't break it by actually becoming wealthy first. You break it by appearing wealthy first. Machiavelli understood something that destroys authentic people. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. He knew that men judge more by the eye than by the hand. Everyone can see your appearance. Few will ever know your reality. He knew that perception creates opportunity, and opportunity creates reality. And he knew that if you cannot be both wealthy and appear wealthy, you must always choose to appear wealthy, because the appearance generates the access, and the access generates the actual wealth. Stay till the end, because I'm about to show you exactly how to look expensive even when you're broke. The specific markers that signal wealth, how to deploy them on any budget, the strategic spending that creates maximum perception impact, and why projecting affluence you don't have isn't lying. It's strategic warfare against a system designed to keep you poor by making you look poor. Let me show you exactly what's happening every time you walk into a room, every time you meet someone new, every time there's a business opportunity or social situation or romantic possibility. There's an assessment running, unconscious mostly, but systematic, and it's determining your value in that person's eyes within seconds. They're looking at your shoes first, always the shoes. Worn-out sneakers, cheap category, scuffed dress shoes, budget category, clean quality footwear, expensive category. That's the first data point. Then they scan upward. Your clothes, are they fitted or baggy? Quality fabric or cheap material? Current or outdated? Wrinkled or pressed? Each observation is a data point. Each data point is feeding the algorithm running in their brain, expensive or cheap. Then accessories. Watch if you're wearing one. Quality matters more than brand, but brand helps if it's recognizable. Bag or briefcase, wallet when you pull it out, Phone newer models signal wealth, older models signal struggle. Grooming, haircut quality, skin care, dental work, even your posture and how you carry yourself. Confidence signals resources, hesitation signals scarcity. And within 30 seconds, often within 10, they've made the judgment. You're either in the expensive category or the cheap category, and that categorization determines everything that happens next. If you're expensive looking, they engage fully. They're interested in what you say. They see potential. They offer opportunities. They introduce you to valuable people. They invest time and resources in the relationship. If you're cheap looking, they're polite but dismissive. They don't really listen. They don't see potential. They don't offer anything valuable. They don't make introductions. They minimize the interaction and move on to someone who looks more expensive. And you think this is unfair. You think people should see past appearances, but they won't, because they can't afford to. Everyone is making rapid assessments about who's worth their limited time and resources, and appearance is the most efficient filter. It's not perfect, but it's fast, and in a world of limited attention and infinite options, fast filters win. So here's what's been happening to you. You've been filtered out, systematically, repeatedly, in business situations where you could have added value, filtered out before you could demonstrate it. In social situations where you could have formed valuable relationships, filtered out before people invested in knowing you. In romantic situations where you could have been a great partner, filtered out before your actual qualities mattered. All because you appeared cheap. All because you failed the 30-second assessment. And the opportunities you're losing, they're not just immediate opportunities, they're network opportunities. Because expensive-looking people get introduced to other expensive-looking people. They get invited to rooms you never access. They get offered deals you never hear about. They build relationships with people who can change their trajectory. And you're not in those rooms, not getting those introductions, not building that network, because you didn't pass the appearance test that grants access. This is the death spiral. Appearing cheap closes doors. Closed doors mean fewer opportunities. Fewer opportunities mean you stay financially where you are. Staying financially where you are means you continue appearing cheap. The cycle reinforces, and every day you spend in it, you fall further behind people who understood the game earlier. Looking expensive creates access. Access creates opportunities. Opportunities create wealth. And wealth eventually matches the appearance that created it. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Applied to money, if you cannot be both actually wealthy and appear wealthy simultaneously, always prioritize appearing wealthy. Because the appearance is what opens doors. The actual wealth can come later, through the doors the appearance opened. But if you wait to appear wealthy until you are wealthy, you'll never get wealthy, because you'll never get the opportunities that create wealth. So let's build the system. Let's show you exactly how to look expensive even when you're broke. This isn't about faking wealth through luxury items you can't afford. This is about understanding which signals matter most and investing strategically in those signals while eliminating wasteful spending on signals that don't matter. This is about maximum perception impact per dollar spent. Principle 1. The 80/20ths of wealth signals. Not all wealth markers are equal. Some signals carry disproportionate weight. Some are constantly visible. Some are rarely noticed. You need to invest heavily in the signals that matter and eliminate spending on signals that don't. Here's the hierarchy. Shoes are the top signal. People notice shoes first and make immediate judgments. One pair of quality shoes that you maintain religiously is worth more than 5 pairs of cheap shoes. You don't need variety, you need quality. One excellent pair of dress shoes, one excellent pair of casual shoes, both well maintained, both looking expensive. That's the foundation. Grooming is the second signal. Haircut quality, facial hair maintenance, skin care, clean nails. This signals that you invest in yourself, which correlates with having resources to invest. A quality haircut every 3 weeks matters more than a cheap haircut every week. Find a skilled barber or stylist, pay for quality, maintain the look. This is non-negotiable. Fit is the third signal. Expensive looking doesn't mean expensive clothes. It means clothes that fit properly. A $50 shirt that fits perfectly looks more expensive than a $200 shirt that doesn't. Learn your measurements. Buy clothes that fit or have them tailored. Baggy clothes signal cheap. Fitted clothes signal expensive. Even if the clothes are inexpensive, proper fit transforms them. Quality over quantity is the fourth signal. 3 high-quality items you rotate look more expensive than 15 low-quality items. Build a minimal wardrobe of quality pieces in neutral colors: black, navy, gray, white. Quality basics that mix and match. You're not trying to have variety. You're trying to always look expensive. And expensive people wear quality basics repeatedly, not cheap variety constantly. Strategic visibility is the fifth signal. Invest in items that are always visible, and minimize spending on items that aren't. Your watch is always visible. Invest there. Your wallet is occasionally visible. Invest moderately. Your underwear is never visible to professional contacts. Don't waste money there. Every dollar you spend should be analyzed. How often will this be seen by people making judgments about my wealth? High visibility = invest. Low visibility = minimize. These 5 principles: shoes, grooming, fit, quality over quantity, strategic visibility, they're the foundation. They're how you look expensive on a limited budget. You're not trying to compete with actually wealthy people on volume. You're trying to signal wealth through strategic investment in high-impact markers. Principle 2. Scarcity concealment. Looking expensive isn't just about what you show, it's about what you hide. You need to eliminate all visible markers of financial struggle. All of them. Because one poverty signal undermines 10 wealth signals. Here's what you're hiding. Never discuss money limitations in any context where people are assessing your status. Not "I can't afford that." Not "that's too expensive for me." Not "I'm saving money." These phrases broadcast poverty. Instead, "that doesn't interest me," or "I'm allocating resources elsewhere," or simply decline without explanation. Expensive people don't explain their spending decisions through scarcity. They express preferences. Never show worn or damaged items in high visibility contexts. Frayed collar. Don't wear that shirt in public. Scuffed shoes. Repair or replace before wearing them where it matters. Cracked phone screen. That's a poverty signal. Fix it or upgrade. One visible marker of financial struggle overwrites the expensive signals you've built. Eliminate them ruthlessly. Never reveal living situation if it's below your projected status. If you're in a cheap apartment or living with roommates or back with parents, nobody in your professional or social network needs to know. Meet people elsewhere. If asked where you live, give the neighborhood but not specifics. Expensive people are private about their living situations anyway. You're just being appropriately discreet. Never apologize for or explain your consumption choices. If you order water instead of alcohol, don't say it's because alcohol is expensive. Say you're not drinking. If you don't order appetizers, don't say you're watching your budget. Just don't order them. Expensive people make choices without financial justification. You're making choices. The reasons are private. This is scarcity concealment. You're not lying about being wealthy. You're eliminating the visible markers that broadcast poverty. There's a massive difference. Most people reveal their financial struggle unconsciously through language, through visible damage to their belongings, through explanations tied to money. You're eliminating all of that. You're becoming opaque about finances. And opacity allows people to project wealth onto you if your visible signals support that projection. Principle 3. Strategic spending theater. This is where you actively create the perception of wealth. Through carefully orchestrated visible spending, you're not actually spending lavishly. You're spending strategically in moments of high visibility. Here's the framework. Always pay for the first round in group settings. Not every round, just first round. This creates the impression of generosity and resources. It's a $30, $50 investment that positions you as someone who has money to spare. Then let others buy subsequent rounds. You've already established the signal. Invest in one signature item that's always visible and clearly expensive. Could be a watch, could be a specific type of bag, could be a unique piece of jewelry, something that people notice and remember, something that signals this person has resources. You're not building a collection of expensive items, you're investing in one anchor piece that does disproportionate work. Tip well in public contexts. When you're with people who are assessing you, tipping 25 to 30% on a $40 meal is a $10, $12 investment in appearing wealthy. It's minimal cost for significant perception impact. Expensive people tip well. You tip well. The association is made. Occupy expensive spaces even when you're not buying expensive things. Coffee at a high-end hotel lobby. Water at an upscale bar. You're paying for the environment, not the product. Being seen in expensive spaces creates association with wealth. People assume you belong there, that you're familiar with that environment, that you're comfortable with those prices. The space does the work for you. Strategic upgrades in specific categories. Ubers instead of public transit when arriving at important meetings. Not because Uber is better, because arriving in a car signals differently than arriving on a train. The $15 difference is an investment in perception. You're not doing this for every trip, just for trips where the arrival is visible to people assessing you. This is spending theater. You're not being wasteful. You're being strategic. Every dollar is deployed for maximum perception impact. You're creating the impression of someone who has resources and spends comfortably, even when your actual budget is tight. And that impression is what opens doors. Machiavelli understood that perception and reality operate on different timelines. The perception comes first, the reality follows. If you wait for reality to change before changing perception, you'll wait forever. But if you change perception strategically, reality shifts to match it. Because perception determines access, access determines opportunity, opportunity determines outcomes, and outcomes create the reality that matches the perception you engineered. If this framework is showing you how to strategically project wealth regardless of actual finances, hit that like button. It tells me this is landing, and it pushes this to others who are still being locked out by poverty visibility. Now let me show you what this actually looks like when deployed. How the system works in real scenarios. How projecting wealth creates the opportunities that generate actual wealth. Because theory is useless without application. Scenario 1. The business meeting. You're meeting a potential client, partner, or employer. You have 15 minutes to make an impression. They're assessing whether you're someone worth doing business with, and the assessment is happening before you speak. You arrive in an Uber, not public transit. $15 investment. You're wearing your quality shoes, well maintained. Your one excellent outfit, tailored fit. Your signature watch visible. Haircut is fresh. You're groomed impeccably. Total investment in this appearance, maybe $800 spread over 3 months of strategic purchasing. But the effect? You look like someone who's successful. Someone who takes care of themselves. Someone with resources. You sit down. You don't order coffee to save money. You order something, because expensive people are comfortable in expensive spaces. You occupy the space with confidence. And when the conversation starts, you never mention money limitations. You don't say you're looking for work because you need money. You say you're exploring strategic opportunities. You don't say you can't afford certain options. You say certain options don't align with your current focus. The assessment is happening. And you're passing, because every signal says, this person has resources, this person is successful, this person is worth investing in. And that assessment changes the conversation. They're offering better terms. They're more interested in working with you. They're making introductions, not because you lied about anything, but because you controlled the signals. You looked expensive, and expensive-looking people get better opportunities. Scenario 2. The social network. You're at an event. Could be professional networking. Could be social. Either way, there are people there who could change your trajectory if they decided to invest in knowing you. And they're making rapid assessments about who's worth their time. You're wearing your system. Quality shoes, fitted clothes, Signature item visible. Grooming impeccable. You buy the first round for a small group. $40 investment. You're confident. You occupy space. You don't reveal financial struggle. And people are engaging. They're interested. They're asking questions. They're seeing you as someone valuable, as someone on their level, as someone worth knowing. And here's what happens next. They introduce you to other people. People with resources. People with opportunities. People who can help you. Because expensive-looking people introduce other expensive-looking people. They bring you into rooms. They include you in conversations. They offer you access. Not because they know you're wealthy. They don't know your actual financial status. But because you appear wealthy. And appearance is the filter for access. One of those introductions leads to an opportunity, a job, a partnership, a client, something that actually improves your financial situation. And that improvement wasn't because you were wealthy. It was because you appeared wealthy, which granted you access, which created the opportunity, which generated the actual wealth. The appearance came first. The reality followed. Scenario 3. The romantic market. You're dating, and whether anyone admits it, economic status matters. People assess whether you can provide, whether you're successful, whether you're going somewhere, and they assess it through appearance before they know your actual situation. You show up to the date wearing your system. Quality shoes, fitted clothes, groomed, clean. You choose the venue strategically. Not the most expensive place, but a place that signals taste and comfort with nice environments. You pay without hesitation or comment. You tip well. You're confident. You're comfortable. And you never reveal financial struggle. And the person across from you is making assessments. This person takes care of themselves. This person is successful or headed there. This person has resources, and those assessments change their interest level. Not because they're shallow, because humans are wired to assess resource access when selecting partners. It's not conscious, it's evolutionary. And you're passing the assessment, not through actual wealth, through projected wealth. The relationship develops, and because they perceive you as successful, they treat you as successful. They introduce you to their network. They speak well of you to others. They invest in you. And those investments, the network access, the reputation building, the support, these create actual opportunities. The projection created the perception. The perception changed how you were treated. The treatment created actual advancement. This is the mechanism. This is how appearing expensive when you're not creates opportunities that eventually make you actually expensive. The appearance isn't the end goal. It's the strategic tool that opens doors you couldn't access otherwise. And once you're through those doors, your actual capabilities matter. But you have to get through the doors first, and appearance is the key. Now let me show you the long-term strategy. Because looking expensive when you're broke is the beginning, not the end. You're not trying to fake wealth forever. You're trying to project wealth long enough to access opportunities that create real wealth. Here's the timeline. Phase 1, foundation building. Months 1-3. You're assembling the system, investing in quality shoes, getting the haircut figured out, building the minimal wardrobe of fitted, quality basics, acquiring the signature item, learning to eliminate poverty signals from your language and presentation. This is the setup phase. You're spending strategically, maybe $800, $1,200 total, over 3 months. Not buying everything at once, building gradually, but building deliberately. Phase 2, consistent projection. Months 4. You look expensive every time you're in contexts where people are assessing you. You're maintaining the signals, keeping shoes clean, haircut fresh, clothes fitted. You're practicing scarcity concealment, never revealing financial struggle. You're deploying strategic spending theater in high visibility moments, and you're consistent. Every professional interaction, every networking event, every social situation where value is being assessed. You're always expensive looking. Phase 3, access accumulation. Month 6-18. The system is working. You're getting different treatment. People are engaging with you as valuable. Introductions are happening. Opportunities are appearing. Not massive opportunities necessarily, but opportunities you weren't getting before, because you're in rooms you couldn't access, because people who can help you are noticing you, because your projected status is granting you access to networks and conversations that were closed when you looked cheap. Phase 4. Opportunity conversion. Months 12-24. Some of those opportunities are converting to actual advancement, a better job, a valuable client, a business partnership, a romantic relationship with someone who has network access, something that actually improves your financial situation. Not because you were wealthy, because you appeared wealthy long enough to access the opportunity that created actual wealth. The projection worked, the access came, the opportunity materialized, and now reality is starting to match the appearance you engineered. Phase 5. Reality alignment. Months 18-36. Your actual financial status is improving because of opportunities you accessed through projected status. And as your actual status improves, the projection becomes easier. You're not faking wealth anymore. You're actually developing it. The expensive appearance that was strategic theater is becoming accurate representation. The gap between projection and reality is closing. Not because you waited to be wealthy before appearing wealthy, but because you appeared wealthy first, which created access, which generated opportunities, which produced actual wealth. This is the timeline. This is how strategic wealth projection becomes actual wealth accumulation. You're not lying about being wealthy. You're engineering the appearance that grants access to wealth-creating opportunities, and you're maintaining that appearance long enough for the opportunities to materialize and convert. Machiavelli wrote, "The ends justify the means, and when the end is escaping poverty, through accessing opportunities that poverty visibility prevents, the means projecting wealth you don't yet have are not only justified but necessary. Because the system is designed to keep poor-looking people poor. It denies them access. It closes doors. It filters them out before they can demonstrate value. And the only way to break that system is to appear to have already broken it. To look successful before you are successful. To project wealth before you have wealth. To fake it until the fake creates the opportunities that make it real. Let me give you the daily discipline, the specific practices that maintain the projection and prevent backsliding into poverty. Visibility. Practice 1. Morning assessment. Before you leave your space every day, you check the signals. Shoes clean, clothes fitted and pressed, grooming handled, signature item present. You don't leave until you pass your own inspection. Because one day of appearing cheap can undo weeks of appearing expensive. Consistency is everything. You're expensive looking every time you're visible. Practice 2. Language audit. Throughout the day, you monitor your language for poverty signals. Anytime you're about to say something tied to money limitations, you stop. You reframe. "I can't afford that," becomes "that doesn't interest me." "That's too expensive," becomes "I'm allocating differently." "I'm broke" is never said, ever. You're training yourself to speak like someone for whom money is not a limiting constraint, even when it is. Practice 3. Visibility investment. You identify moments of high visibility. Important meetings, networking events, social situations with valuable people, and you invest strategically. Uber instead of bus. Round of drinks. Meal at a nicer place. You're not doing this everywhere, just in moments where the perception impact justifies the cost. You're strategic, deliberate, focused. Practice 4. Scarcity elimination. Daily you scan for visible markers of financial struggle. Worn item, replace or retire. Damaged item, repair or remove. Anything that signals poverty, eliminate it. You're ruthless about this, because you cannot afford to have poverty markers undermining your wealth signals. One visible sign of struggle cancels 10 signs of success. Practice 5. Network optimization. You're strategic about who sees you and where. You minimize time in environments that broadcast poverty. Cheap apartments, budget stores, low-status venues when visible to your network. You maximize time in environments that suggest wealth. Nice coffee shops, upscale areas, quality venues, even if you're just having water. You're curating the environmental context in which people encounter you, because environment is a signal. These 5 practices, morning assessment, language audit, visibility investment, scarcity elimination, network optimization, they're the maintenance protocol. They're what keeps you expensive looking day after day. They're what prevents backsliding. They're what ensures the projection is consistent enough to create the access that generates opportunities. And here's what happens over time. It stops being a projection. It becomes reality. Because the opportunities came. Because the access opened doors. Because the network invested in you. Because the appearance created the actual advancement it was mimicking. You don't have to fake wealth forever. You just have to fake it long enough to access the opportunities that create real wealth. And that timeline from projection to reality, it's shorter than you think, because opportunities compound. One good opportunity leads to others. One valuable connection introduces you to more. One advancement creates momentum for the next. You're not trying to be fake wealthy for life. You're trying to appear wealthy long enough to become actually wealthy. And the appearance is the tool that breaks the poverty visibility death spiral. That gets you out of the trap where looking poor keeps you poor. That grants you access to rooms and conversations and opportunities that were locked when you appeared cheap. The appearance is strategic, temporary, but absolutely necessary, because you cannot access wealth-creating opportunities while looking poor. The system doesn't allow it, so you game the system. You look expensive before you are expensive, and the expensive appearance creates the opportunities that make you expensive for real. You can't unsee this now. You can't unknow what you know. The world is sorting you by appearance every single day, and that sorting determines everything. Who engages with you? Who offers you opportunities? Who invests in you? Who respects you? Who even sees you? And you've been sorted into the cheap category. Not because you are cheap, because you look cheap. But that changes today. Today you start building the system, the quality shoes, the impeccable grooming, the fitted clothes, the signature item, the strategic spending, the scarcity concealment, the consistent projection. You start looking expensive, even though you're not, because looking expensive is what opens doors, what creates access, what generates opportunities, what eventually produces the actual wealth that matches the appearance. Machiavelli understood that reality and perception operate on different timelines. That perception creates access. That access creates opportunity. That opportunity creates reality. And that if you try to wait for reality before changing perception, you'll wait forever locked in poverty. But if you change perception first, if you appear wealthy before you are wealthy, reality shifts to accommodate the perception. The doors open, the opportunities appear, the wealth follows. You're done being authentic about financial struggle. You're done revealing poverty through language and appearance. You're done being sorted into the cheap category and wondering why opportunities never come. You have the framework now. You have the system. You have the strategy. Deploy it consistently, ruthlessly, strategically. Look expensive, even when you're not, especially when you're not, because that appearance is the tool that breaks the cycle, that grants you access, that creates the opportunities that generate the wealth you're projecting. If you're ready to stop being locked out by poverty, visibility, and start projecting wealth that creates actual opportunities, subscribe and turn on notifications. Drop a comment telling me which principle you're implementing first. Share this with someone who's being systematically dismissed because they appear cheap. Because the world is divided into two groups: people who appear expensive and get opportunities, and people who appear cheap and get dismissed. And you just chose which group you're joining. The world judges by appearances. So master the appearance. Project wealth. Conceal struggle. Invest strategically in high-impact signals. And watch what happens. Watch how people treat you differently. Watch how access opens is appear. Watch how access opens. Watch how the projection becomes reality. Not through magic, through mechanism. The appearance creates access. Access creates opportunity. Opportunity creates wealth. Wealth validates the appearance. The cycle completes. And you're no longer faking. You're expensive. Actually, finally, because you were willing to look expensive first.